Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Miller. If you're watching this, it means that you're struggling or need help or just a little bit of a reminder or you missed on how to do a job application. So, this is a very basic job application. This is not like a professional job application that you get outside of college. And this is like a beginning job for someone who is beginning or maybe out of high school. All right. So, first, we're going to go through. I'm going to do just step by step, bits and pieces. I'm not going to do everything, but I'm going to do some of it. Okay. So when you do a job application, the first part usually is your personal information. So I'll do my first middle initial. You don't have to do your middle initial if you don't feel comfortable, or I'm just going to spell my whole name, Robert Miller, and phone number. I'm not going to give you my real phone number, so I'm going to use the school's phone number. Let's see. It's funny, as I write this, I don't remember the school's number. So there we go. So 262-596291. So you'd fill this out, except you would use your actual phone number. And your email would be your school email, just because we're doing this for pretend. So it would be your birthday. I have no problem actually telling you my birthday. Maybe someone who watches this video will actually give me a present. Doubtful of it though. And the street address, if you don't know your street address, you need to look at it in Infinite Campus. I'm not going to give you mine because it's none of your business. But if I were really to do this, it would be what would be expected of you. It would be to like write, or for me would be to write my address. So I'm going to do 811 Road, City, Kenosha. And actually, since I'm doing this before, I need to have a state. Usually on a job application, I have WI. Okay. And the zip code, it depends on where you live. So that's why it's important you know your address. You need to write the zip code down. For Kenosha, there's multiple ones. Where I live, there's one. Okay. Oops. And are you a U.S. citizen? 99.999% of you are American citizens. If you're born in America, you are an American citizen. So what you do would be you'd highlight yes. Okay. But if let's say no, you're not, you just highlight no, and that's whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Employment desired. So the position you are applying for, you can apply for every position except management. If you apply for management, I'm going to take off points because in the real life, unless you are a manager and have management experience, you can't be a manager. You can't start off as a new employee with no skills to be a manager. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so you can apply for all of them or one of them, but because we want you to be successful and get the job, we're going to have you do all of them. That's what I'm doing because I want to get my job. Date you can start. It's typically within 2 weeks. So I'm doing this if you're watching this, I'm making this video on October 5th, which is a Wednesday. So just for, giggles and laughs, I just did it today, but in 2 weeks from now, it's going to be the 19th. So it'd be 22. That is the date that it works. And then education, I would write here in this spot. You need to write down here in Washington Middle School. So you go to number of years attended. Later on down the road, when you fill out other job applications, you would write 3 or 2.5, but right now it's just 2. You're rounding because like being in school a month is not a whole year. Have you graduated? No, you have not. Okay. College, for anything you can't fill out, just write NA, or you can do N/A. It doesn't matter. And then you would just leave this blank, or you can write next to it NA as well. Because there's no reason that you'd be in college if you're not old enough to go to high school. Skills. This is where you write something that you are good at that can be applied to a job. So it can't be something like I can kick a soccer ball really high, or I can slam dunk, or I can play, Fortnite really well. It has to be something that relates to a job. You're trying to get a job at a pizza place. So what you should do is, I'm letting you actually the ability to copy this. You'd write something like this. Every single person that is in middle school can count money, make food, and clean. You all can do that. So it's very simple. Current employment. This is for people that actually have a job. 99% of you, 99.999% of you do not. So if you don't, you just go through and write NA. You can't leave it blank, because if you leave it blank, people assume that you just didn't fill it out, and then they won't take it very seriously. So you just have to do what you need to do. So you go through and you put NA for all of it. Reason for leaving, same thing. NA, start date would be the same thing. NA, and maybe contact, you'd write NA. All right. And for past employment, if you never had a job in the past, I'm not going to go through and do NA all over again, but you would do the same thing. You do NA, 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 NA. References, you have to fill this out. References are people that you actually know that can help you get a job. It cannot be a family member unless you have worked for that family member, because family members are biased and they will say things to protect you because they love you, which is sweet, but that's not what a job is supposed to be about. A job is supposed to be someone who is a professional that can back you up. So if I were you, I would use teachers, because that's the easiest thing. But if you don't, you can use coaches, you can use people that are in clubs, if you had an actual job, something like that. But for the most part, the people that see you the most all day, besides your parents and your friends, are your teachers. So if I were you, I would do this. So what I did is I typed in Washington Middle School, and I would go to Washington Middle School. I'd click on it, and once you get to this, you can do the staff. Okay, so this, I don't think this has been updated in a while. Let's see. Um, Actually, it has been, so that's perfect. So let's say that you want to use a teacher from 8th grade, and let's just say it's Mr. Page, because that's where I stopped it at. So you would write his name, which would be not Mr. Page. You'd actually write Brandon Page. No one has a first name of Mr. And then years acquainted, I would say not a very long time. I would say maybe, let's say 1 month. Depending on how much you know someone, it might be longer or shorter. Let's just get rid of Mr. Page for a second. I'll make it a better one. But like, you only know him for a month. But let's say you know someone for a lot longer of a period of time. Let's say you've known Miss Rash. So let's do Miss Rash. Let's do Miss Rash. Sabrina Rash. Let's say you've known her now for 2 years. You need to make sure you say years, though, because if you don't, it could be to anything, like 2 days, 2 seconds, 2 milliseconds, 2 minutes, 2 hours. You have to be specific. Relationship to you, you would say, I don't know what she teaches, so I'll just say 6th grade teacher, because that's what she is to you. And then you need to write her phone number, which would be the school's phone number. '91. That is the school's phone number, is right here. And what you would do is then look at her name, and you would go here, and this is an extension, so you have to write the extension down, because if they call that number, it just takes into the office. To get directly to Mrs. Rash, you have to click 2023. So then we'd have X 2023. You need to have the extension on here for it to work. And then let's do an email. So we would go and we'd find her email, and this is simple. You just copy and you paste it. All right. So that is kind of what filling out a job application looks like. You need to have 2 references, though. So when you do this, make sure you get 2, and make sure that if you don't have a job, you put NA. All right, that's pretty much the gist of it for a very basic job application. Thank you so much for your time.